Well, welcome back, everyone. For those of you that have made it to Hump Day, this is Wednesday. We're halfway, through our summer session, and thank you all for, returning. And hello, everyone in video land. For those of you that are attending, also. I'm Dexter Marr. I'm going to be your MC tonight, and I'm a member of the Hawaii Betsuin and serve on committees here at the Buddha Study Center also. For those of you that may be here for the first time tonight, housekeeping, our bathrooms are through this door on the side. Refreshments are available anytime. If you need to stand up and stretch, feel at ease to do that. We do have note cards for questions, and so please write down your questions and hand them into myself or any of the BSC staff. And because we will have question and answer sessions. Okay, so I guess without further ado, we will turn it over to Reverend Kyo.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for attending day 3. I know some people who came before have a board meeting or some other, duties tonight. So yeah, tonight a little bit less people, but tonight I will talk very, very important thing. Good for you. So just kidding. Anyway, yesterday I had more questions than the day 1. So, going back home, my room, and then I typed, and then made a PowerPoint slide with my answers. And then, let me begin with this question. When Amida Buddha embraces all sentient beings, does that include non-Buddhists? If so, why? And then my answer would say yes. Of course, depending on the definition of this word embraces, what does it mean, embrace? But my interpretation, my reading is, anyway, so Amida tries to give a guidance. Amida tries to reach those people. Amida tries to embrace. So that's how I read this question. And then, if so, I think yes. Why? Because, so this is from the question from yesterday. So our idea is, okay, he's Christian. She's Muslim. So this is how we can label, put the label on people, and then try to differentiate. Or maybe grouping those people, right? And then that's how we kind of, this is that, and then this and that kind of, try to differentiate everything. But again, from Buddha's eyes, there is no distinction. All sentient beings are the object of Amida Buddha's embracement or guidance. Christian, forever. So that's why, according to human views or scale, there are many different, religious groups, and then people have a different religious faith, right? That's fine. As I, wrote the, the mountain. Maybe each religion has a kind of climbing a mountain. That's fine. But from Amida's side, Amida never stops, no matter who you are. Right? So always constantly talking to you or calling you, whoever you are, whatever religious faith you have. Right? So it's up to us. We listen to it, or we accept it, or we respond it. Right? だからthis is a Honen Shonen's poem. Shinran Shonin has a master who was a Honen Shonin, the founder of Jōdo school. He composed a poem, 月影の至らぬ里はなけれども、見る人の心にと住む。月影の至らぬ里はなけれども、見る人の心にと住む。So there is no place where the moon doesn't shine, right? So it's up to the person who look up the sky and then recognize the moonlight, right? So like a sunlight, rain, moonlight, right? Universally, equally, shining the light, or like a water comes everywhere, right? But it's up to each of us to recognize, appreciate the beauty of sunlight, the beauty of moonlight, or the kind of benefit from the rain, right? So from that side, kind of universally, kind of unconditionally coming on our side. And then it's up to us, we can appreciate or realize the value of it or not. So that's why this is kind of my answer. And then, so yesterday when I answered this question, my answer too, I brought the Ishiji in Japanese, only child of Amida Buddha. And then Shinran Shonin said, Amida Buddha's regard for each sentient beings with idle compassion is equal, as though each one were the Buddha's only child. Here he didn't say each Shin Buddhist or each Buddhist, right? Again, all sentient beings, whatever religious belief you may have, that you are the target object of Amida's kind of work. So this is my first question. The second question today, my second and third question, this is the kind on the same card. Question A, 1 and 2. Are ego and pride the same thing? So I know this is more like a Western psychology background or more like a discussion in the Buddhist studies. I don't have any background of like a Western psychology, thing. So maybe they have their kind of different discussion. But the Buddhism, especially Yogacara kind of deeply discuss this kind of our kind of mind stuff. And then I think I got this question from at the somewhere, maybe some seminar or some discussion with somebody. I think I received the same question from somebody before, and then I think I looked into Yogacara stuff before, and then they are kind of different things. So pride is more like one of the bonno, one of the bonno's defilements, kind of blind passions. And then there are so many types of defilements or bonno, deluded passions, according to the study of Yogacara. And then pride is one of them. And then ego is more like our subject itself. This is very rough category. If you want to know more, please study Yogacara. It's really very in detail. And then maybe Sugahara Sensei, Reverend Sugahara, Portland, Oregon Buddhist Temple. He's now a kind of specialist of Yogacara. If you send an email to him, I'm sure he will give you a very detailed, answer. This kind of difference. And then, question number 2 is letting go one's or my pride and ego, the best path to become humble. Yes, I think so. So to be humble, our pride is a big kind of wall for us to become humble. So once we can remove it, then I'm sure we can be more humble. はい。So that's why in the beginning of my lecture, I used like a capital I Buddhist and then become smaller I Buddhist. So I think when we truly follow the path of Buddhism, Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism, I'm sure we can become more humble, or we receive the humility. The next question. You mentioned yesterday, I mentioned like a homeless thing. And then how do you resolve their presence at the temple while still protecting the minister and the families? And then also jeopardizing losing membership by either accepting them with open arms or shooting them away. I put my honest response. I know this is a very difficult question. So reality, ideally, we are a temple open to anybody and then accept them and then provide a dharma, including a refreshment, right? But of course, there is a chance of danger or kind of trouble. But hard to tell what kind of intention homeless, guy have to come to the temple. Maybe, at the Berkeley Buddhist temple, we have sometimes homeless people come, as I mentioned yesterday, come. And then, and then I talk to them, and then some members make a, plate for food and give it to them. So, and then I know some members don't want to deal with those people. And then some members very open mind, and then kind of try to be very kind, nice to them. And then I know it's temple sangha is the gathering assembly of different people. So it's really hard to give a kind of one clear answer. But this is kind of my questions or popping up in my mind when I'm dealing with this situation. What if I am the homeless guy? What if my son is a homeless guy? And then if we think that way, maybe we can, respond, deal with those people different attitude, right? So I think maybe when I was a young guy, maybe I was terrible. They just maybe kick out the person. But as I listen to the Dharma, this is one of the benefits I believe that I received from the Amida Buddha or Buddha Dharma is I could see things from a different perspective. Maybe before my egoistic or self-centered eyes, and then I took action. But listening to the Dharma, sometimes I can see things from different views. And then maybe this question, what if I'm a homeless guy? And what if my son is a homeless guy? And then, how should I deal with the homeless people? And then another question is, how would Buddha deal with the situation? Not only homeless guy, living in this world, I'm sure each of you encounter many difficult, hard situations, right? Sometimes it's hard to tell good and bad, right and wrong, right? But sometimes we have to, make a decision, right? Then, maybe as a Buddhist, as a student of Buddha's teaching, maybe this is one of my main criteria to when I make a decision, how Buddha would deal with the situation. So this is a kind of ideas. I'm sure there is no clear answer to this question. Reality and the ideals, but those are the kind of hint for each of you to deal with the situation. Then, kind of in relation to this, let me share one story. So, I didn't have my actual picture, but so this is a Buddha statue. And then at my house, there is a Buddha statue, this top part is broken. And then why? Right now I'm living at a parsonage, Berkeley Buddhist Temple parsonage. Before that, I was living in Alameda, kind of far away from Berkeley, and then at the house. And then one day, I was at the Jōdo Shinshū Center, Berkeley, and I think that was June. And then summer vacation started. So my wife took my 3 boys to a pool, like a 4 p.m. ぐらいだったかな, 3 or 4 p.m. And then nobody was at home. And then after an hour or so, my wife came with my 3 boys back home. And then she noticed doors open. So first, oh gee, it's weird. I think I, close the door and lock the door. How come the door is open? And then while she was wondering, and then my second son, Eito, he kind of jumped into the house. And then door is wide open. And then she found a stranger in the house. So, yeah, somebody, robbery, came into my house and then looking for, valuable stuff. And then, so my wife grabbed my second son and then took him out of the house. And then the guy also noticed. And then he ran away to the back door of my house. And then, interestingly, my wife, she chased that guy. She's very strong. So to be balanced my household, so that's why my wife and then 3 and then 4 boys, to be balanced. So she's a very strong lady. Anyway, so he ran away, and then the inside of my house is messed up. It's totally kind of messed up. And then we had a home obutsudan, small home altar, and then that's also kind of thrown away on the floor. And then next to the home altar, we put I think this size kind of plaster a white Buddha statue like that, gifted by somebody. And then that Buddha also was on the floor. And then the head, this part is kind of tipped off. And then clean up my messy house. And then I found the Buddha on the floor, and the top is tipped off. And then that time I wondered. So this Buddha got mad, right? Because this robbery came in and throwing away this Buddha statue, and then how Buddha responded this kind of instant robbery. So most of us, I'm sure, got mad, especially like giving a damage to Buddha's body is a big problem in the Buddhist community society. But picking up this broken Buddha statue, I wondered myself. I asked myself, did Buddha get angry with this? I didn't think so. Probably, maybe Buddha felt it's really sad this happened. I think that's how Buddha would react to the situation, right? Most of us, because of anger, we would get easily, angry with this kind of situation. But the Buddha, I'm sure he felt sad because this guy, if he lived regular normal life, he didn't have to, break in my house. But he was under kind of certain situation, so he needed the money or he needed something. So that's why he had to kind of break in my house and then look for something valuable. Right? So in a sense, this is the reality of this samsara, this saha world. And then, yesterday I showed that, what is Buddha, like a nutritional fact. Greed, 0, anger, 0, and then stupidity, 0. Yeah, if Buddha has no anger, then I think this is, Buddha, I'm sure, would felt sorry for the situation. I think this means kind of to become a Buddha. To become Buddha is the kind of emotional reaction is to become Buddha. Anyway, はい。だから I think this is one important criteria when you deal with the difficult situation. How would Buddha deal with the situation, respond to the situation? はい。で、次なんだこれは。Yesterday I spoke of a spontaneous response of joy, such as dancing, but doesn't Shinran say you feels no joy? What you say and what Shinran says seems to be contradictory statement. Can you explain this? Yeah, yesterday when I talk about the ritual, and then because of the joy or excitement of encountering the Dharma, and then we spontaneously kind of conduct the service. So service or ritual is totally based on our kind of passion, kind of enthusiasm or kind of enjoy excitement. And then I appreciate this person studied, heard the Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism. I was so glad this person knows this chapter 9. Chapter 9 of the Tannisho, a record in Lament of Divergences. So Tannisho, a record of Lament of Divergences, is a collection of Shinran Shonin's words by his follower, Yuyen. And then there are many wonderful words of Shinran Shonin in this book. And then so that's why, as I introduced Nishida Kitaro, Shibaryo Taro, and then Heidegger, those people are so impressed with this work. And then this is like a story in chapter 9. So this is a conversation between Yuyen and then Master Shinran Shonin. Okay? Although I say the Nembutsu, the feeling of dancing with joy is faint within me. And I have no thought of wanting to go to the Pure Land quickly. How should it be for a person Nembutsu? So Yuyen, his follower, honestly, humbly, threw a question to his master, sensei. And then Shinran Shonin, when I asked the master Shinran this, and then he answered, me too, right? I too have had this question, and the same thought occurs to you, Yuyenbo. When I reflect deeply on it, by the very fact that I don't rejoice at what should fill me with such joy that I dance in the air and dance on earth, I realize all the more that my birth is completely settled. So this is another point I like Shinran Shonin. She is very honest. He's very honest person. And then he honestly responds to this question. Oh, me too. Right? Because looking at the Buddhist scriptures, there are many passages talking about the joy or excitement when you truly encounter Amida Buddha's primal vow. So if they are Nembutsu follower, if they are those who encounter the Amida Buddha's light, Amida Buddha's aspiration, they should have a kind of great joy. But the Yuyenbo, he wondered, am I really encountered a teaching? And then Shinran Shonin kind of responded very honestly. And then in this passage, doctrinal point is, so then what if those who cannot enjoy, have the joy, rejoice, this Amida Buddha's guidance, and they, within the embracement of Amida Buddha or not? So in other words, is a feeling of, dancing with joy, the condition or requirement for attainment of Buddhahood in the Pure Land. So this is more like a topic for today, today or tomorrow. How can we attain birth in the Pure Land? So those who don't have joy, are they excluded or not? So traditionally, Jōdo Shinshū, Shinjin, only Shinjin is the kind of requirement, condition for us to attain birth in the Pure Land. So it doesn't matter you have a joy of dancing or not. So I put the second slide. I brought these words. If you read, Andy brought his corrected works of Shinran today. Yes. So if you open the CWS, corrected works of Shinran, and then read this book, you can find many passages, words expressing joy by Shinran Shonin. And then this is one of them. And then this is a passage at the conclusion of Kyōgyō Shinsho, the very end of Kyōgyō Shinsho. Usually Shinran Shonin, he doesn't show kind of his emotion. He kind of dry, That's how he, wrote his books. But the end of, beginning and the end of Kyōgyō Shinsho, his major work, he showing his kind of emotions. And then this is part of them. How joyous I, Master Shinran, my heart and mind being rooted in the Buddha ground of the universal Tao, and my thought and feelings flowing within the Dharma ocean, which is beyond comprehension. I'm deeply aware of the Tathagata's immense compassion, and I sincerely revere the benevolent care behind the Master's teaching activity. My joy grows ever fuller, my gratitude and indebtedness ever more compelling. So this is how he expressing his kind of joy or excitement or appreciation of the teaching, right? or to what he had received. So he had joy. He did have joy of encountering the Dharma. And then this is another passage by Shinran Shonin. Joy means to rejoice that since one has realized this Shinjin, the Shinjin that is other power, one's birth is definitely settled. In short, the meaning of other power is that practitioner's calculation is not involved. Our attainment of birth is settled. Not my effort, not my kind of action. Right? It's totally based on Buddha's side. Right? Buddha works to settle my attainment of birth in the Pure Land. So our actions are not conditioned, shouldn't be calculated. So that's why traditionally, so doesn't matter we have a joy of dancing or not. If so, maybe this doesn't work. So only Buddha's work is the main cause of our attaining or settlement of birth. So that's why I'm sure Shinran Shonin had a great joy. はい。今度次は何だ？何ですかこれは？はい。So Monday I spoke of different religions having different mountains, and we are all climbing different mountains. For a Buddhist, achieving the state of non-retrogression is when one is assured of birth in the Pure Land. So question one, this is my answer. And then yes. But more precisely speaking, doctrinally speaking, the settlement of stage of non-retrogression. I appreciate some. I don't know who wrote this question, but I'm sure this person studied hard about the Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism. So this the stage of non-retrogression. This is a very technical term. And then it's when one is assured to attain Buddhahood or enlightenment. So more precisely speaking, not a birth, it's an attainment of Buddhahood. And then in today's society, sometimes people change religion due to social factors. Yeah. And then does this mean that Buddhists lose the path to the Pure Land if they change religion? Yeah. Then I know this is very practical question. This is a really nice question. Yeah. And then I'm sure many people change their religious belief due to especially marriage. Yeah. My wife too, her family religion was a Shingon. And then when she married me, she kind of converted to Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism. And then my answer is, and then what does it mean to be a Jōdo Shinshū Buddhist? Yeah. When we marry and then change our religious faith. Yeah. Does that mean just paying a membership is make us to be a Jōdo Shinshū Buddhist? Yeah. Or yes, I know this is yes. Yes. And then in addition to that, live with the Dharma makes us a Jōdo Shinshū Buddhist or not. Yeah. So, even after you marry, I think, I know that a kind of practical issue. So it's nice for all family members have a same religious faith. That's very wonderful. But if possible, I think it's also nice to keep your, religious faith that even after you marry, if you can, keep it. So, this is one of the explanation of Shinjin. What the Shinjin is in our tradition. Shinjin is like a diamond, never breaking or degenerating or becoming fragmented. Thus, we speak of diamond-like Shinjin. So I know this is another difficult question practically, but even you marry to the person or family of different religious tradition, you could keep your appreciation of faith, religious faith, while you could be a member of a Christian church of other religious tradition, but internally you could keep your faith or appreciation of the Dharma by living with it. Because if you truly receive the Shinjin, Shinran Shonin said, it's a diamond-like mine, never broken. Once you get it, once you receive it, never broken until you end your life. So that means even when you marry to a family of different religious tradition, maybe you could keep it within yourself. You could live as a Jōdo Shin Buddhist. Saying so, I know this is really difficult, tough question, situation practically. The next question is, meditation necessary to enter the Pure Land? According to Jōdo Shinshū tradition, I would say no. The person also put the answer to his or her answer there in the card. So I agree. No. But, so what is meditation? Maybe I briefly talk about the meditation issue too. Generally speaking, Jōdo Shinshū tradition, we don't have a meditation. But depending on how we define meditation, I do believe Jōdo Shinshū also has a meditation. Listen to the Dharma. Right? So by meditation, by practicing meditation, we know ourselves, right? So if so, the purpose-wise, we are doing the same thing by listening to the Dharma. When we deeply, truly listen to the Dharma, we can know ourselves. Kind of same result doing the meditation. So if so, then meditation is also necessary to the Pure Land. If this meditation is defined as listen to the Dharma, maybe this answer is yes. But if you try to attain birth or become Buddha by practicing meditation, sitting down and then what we call regular meditation, maybe not. Hi, next question. Can meditation help a person in this world or next? Yeah. I think so. So in the Jōdo Shinshū tradition, I know some temples are having a meditation gathering, meditation session. Then people come and then they do meditation. If those are the purpose of meditation, I think, meditation practice can help you more secular way, not the religious way, I believe. And the next question, what book, videos, audios, and other sources does Shin Buddhism recommend, and where do we find these recommendations? これね、if you want to know, just send me email. I can send you back something, like a PDF file or something. That's easier rather than listing up on this PowerPoint. So if you want to know some of those materials, just send me email. I think you have my email address, right? Hi. And then, I think this is the last one today. Yeah. I hope I read this question correctly. Sometimes it's difficult. If I take a question different way, response is totally, out of point, right? So the question was, does Amida Buddha mean different ideas for different Buddhist paths? That is, do some Buddhist paths consider Amida as a dualistic deity? So, Amida Buddha, so I anyway put the answer yes, especially to the first question. As I mentioned yesterday, speaking of Buddhism, there are symbolically 84,000 Dharma gates, right? And then Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Jōdo Buddhism, Shingon, Tendai, Nichiren, Theravada, so many, different types of Buddhism, right? So the path of Amida Buddha, the teaching of Amida Buddha, I would say maybe, of course, has a different idea, different process, different path from other Buddhist paths. So that's how I read the first question. So that's why my answer is yes. The path of Amida should be different, the idea from other Buddhist paths, because other Buddhist paths, they don't have Amida. Some Buddhism, they don't have Amida Buddha. So for example, like Lotus, 日蓮宗に初スートラ、ロータススートラね、ロータススートラだから they don't use the Amida Buddha. So that's why they have different ideas of their Buddhist path. And then from their perspective, right? The Buddhist schools other than Jōdo Shinshū or path of Amida Buddha, do they consider Amida Buddha from their perspective a dualistic deity? I think yes かな? My answer would be yes. So my interpretation of this dualistic means, so for example, Amida Buddha is the one who guides us. And then we are the ones to receive, guidance. So one who gives guidance, receives guidance. So my understanding is this is a kind of dualistic relationship, right? Is that okay? Dexter, am I 合ってる言っちゃった
It's just that Amida Buddha in other traditions, is viewed differently than in Jōdo Shinshū. Jōdo Shinshū, through Shinran's insight, took a whole kind of a different meaning, which is what we were talking about. Metaphor, it's oneness, that type of thing. Whereas if you talk to a Chinese pure land Buddhist,
Chinese pure and Buddhist tradition.
Amida is a god, and so it's and Mahayana Buddhism created many gods at the start. But Jōdo Shinshū, Shinran can change for his interpretation.
Okay, yes.
So he changed 1,000 years of tradition
Right.
from Amida, the concept of Amida.
なるほどね。
We view it.
Yeah, thank you, Dexter. Yeah, that's a very good comment. So, right, Jōdo Shinshū. Jōdo Shinshū is very unique among the pure and Buddhist tradition. And then, but as long as we are in the category of pure and Buddhism, that means we have something common with other pure and Buddhist tradition, right? But we are Jōdo Shinshū, different from Jōdo Shu, and then different from some other Chinese pure and tradition. That means we also have some uniqueness as a Jōdo Shin Buddhism. This is maybe your kind of homework to figure out or find what is the uniqueness of Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism. So maybe this is a topic for tomorrow かな。today too. そうね、阿弥陀ブッダもそうかもしれんね。Yeah, so how did Shinran Shonin interpret Amida Buddha or Pure Land? Or how Shinran Shonin interpret the Shinjin, faith issue? Or how Shinran Shonin interpret Nembutsu practice? So Shinran Shonin, of course, has a uniqueness. And then because of this uniqueness, Jōdo Shinshū became kind of one independent school as a Jōdo Shinshū. But interestingly, Jōdo Shinshū is not a Shinran Shonin's creation. On the other hand, because as I mentioned yesterday, Shinran Shonin's teaching is based on this is a larger sutra, right? And then larger sutra, contemplation sutra, and then Amida sutra, right? His Buddhism is totally based on 3 Pure Land sutras. And then also he received a guidance from 7 masters, right? So this is a kind of interesting part. Shinran Shonin Jōdo Shinshū is unique, but he is on the lineage of Pure Land tradition, receiving a guidance from masters, India, China, and then Japan. So again, what is the uniqueness of Jōdo Shin Buddhism, different from other, Pure Land tradition? So this is kind of your homework. And then, so Dexter mentioned oneness, and then here we're talking about the dualism. Kind of monoism. Dexter, is it okay to say oneness as a monoism, or it should be different? Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Dexter, but do you mean dualism as a judgmental good and bad concept?
Christian God is dualistic.
Dualistic,
It's
yes.
You and
me and me.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
not embraced and encompassed by like Amida. I mean, Shin Buddhist Amida.
Yeah, thank you very. Yeah, this is a fun time. So, and then on the other hand, we talk about this word, oneness. And then this is one of the character uniqueness of Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism in the U.S. from my perspective. So when I studied Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism in Japan, I didn't hear much about oneness in the Jōdo Shinshū studies. But once I came over here, and then I started, involving in the Jōdo Shinshū kind of Buddhism here. I hear this was many times, oneness. So as Dexter pointed out, maybe this is a kind of try to differentiate Jōdo Shin Buddhism, which sounds very similar, close to Christianity, and then to differentiate Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism, so we need to present something different from Christianity. So as Dexter pointed out, like a Christianity, God, me and God, right? Very kind of dualistic structure, right? And then Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism, I do admit Jōdo Shinshū has similarities with Christianity. Since I studied Christianity at the Graduate Theological Union, and then I went to Christian place, and I studied a lot. And then I saw many similarities, but at the same time I see many differences. And then so I understand this oneness is a very important idea to differentiate Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism from Christianity. But at the same time, I want to be careful about this idea too. What does it mean, this oneness? Are we become one with Amida Buddha? Do we become one? One with Amida Buddha? And then if so, is that the kind of Atman that's kind of unite or become one with Amida Buddha? Like, before Buddhism, there is a Brahmanism, right? And then the idea of Brahmanism is, this I, Atman, is becoming like a one with Brahman. That is a goal of this, religion. To me, I and Amida become one sounds like a Brahmanism. So, but saying so, there is some ideas or teaching in the Jōdo Shinshū tradition, kind of Amida and I become one. So this is, I want to, very be careful. And then, as I said, but the Jōdo Shinshū teaching, to my understanding, is based on dualistic structure anyway. Because as I mentioned, Amida is the one who gives us a guidance. And then I am the one who received this guidance. And then I'm the enlightened one, become enlightened. Right? And then this Saha world. And then, so that's why, because of this impurity, there is the land free from impurity, pure land. Right? So this teaching, Jōdo Shinshū teaching, according to my understanding, is kind of developed based on this kind of relativity or dualistic structure. And then my understanding is through those dualism or dualistic structure, and then we have to go beyond something, this dualism. Right? So, of course, we shouldn't stop this and that, good or bad, and then beauty and ugly, those kind of dualistic structure. But the point, according to my understanding of Jōdo Shinshū, is based on with this dualistic structure, Buddha or Dharma or Pure Land, whatever, it tries to telling us something more important beyond this dualistic structure, dualism. Right? So if we got stuck there, it's totally wrong teaching. But so that's why yesterday I brought essence and the form. So that is a kind of one idea of Shinran Shonin. So maybe dualistic or relativity, Amida and the I, this Saha world and the Pure Land, right? And then this kind of dualistic structure is totally based on kind of absolute truth, right? One kind of essence part. So yesterday, どれだったっけ？so day 2、どっちだ？これか。だったっけ？違う。ごめんなさいね。あれ。So yesterdayこれ何？ Day 2よね。Day 2でこれだ。So Dharma body as suchness has neither color nor form, right? This is absolute truth. And then, so that's why from here, Amida Buddha or kind of form, manifested, right? And then this form means Buddha and then Bombu or Pure Land and this Saha world, right? This kind of dualism, right? So that's why I do think, so Jōdo Shinshū has both aspects. So dualistic idea and then also monoistic, kind of totally absolute kind of aspect. And then those two kind of twined. And then this doctrinal discussion was made by Tonran, the third of the Pure and Buddhist tradition. And then he wrote a commentary on the treatise of the Pure and Way, which was recently translated by the Honganji. だから、if you want to know more about this kind of relationship, kind of monoistic structure, monoism っていいかな? Monoism or dualistic structure, how they kind of related to each other. This philosophical ontological discussion is made by Tonran, and then his work is translated into English, and then Shinran Shōni highly received influence from him, Tonran. So だからね、for your better understanding, I strongly recommend you to read that book. まあごめんなさい。Anyway, so this is too much ね。はい。まあtomorrow evening we will have like a ね、これ。その時に、yeah, let's talk more ね、about this. はい。いや、ブレイクね。はい、ごめんなさい。Yes. じゃあ、15 minutes break. So let's start, come back 7:40. ね。Okay, so change, and then those change is brought by, something other than myself. So that's why Dharma or Amida Buddha, and then we talk about the other power, and then Amida has the wish or aspiration for change. Right? And then what is Amida Buddha? I showed the nutrition fact, wisdom and compassion. And then wisdom is the insight to see things fairly or selflessly, right? And then this is compassion, and wisdom, compassion, everyday life. And then because of Buddha's wisdom, Buddha can see things from different way as same object, but depending on some camera or microscope, X-ray, we can have a same object, but the different, view images. The same way, from the eyes of wisdom of Buddha, Buddha can see this world, can see things different way from ours, from us. So this is one example. We humans have an east, north, south, west, or put a borderline, on the earth, but it's totally our creation. And then because of our creation, we make conflict and fight, right? And then this is another Buddha's observation. This world is burning house, and then we are children, like playing in this burning house without knowing it, right? So that's why Buddha tried to grab us and take us from this burning house. Right? And then this is another example. We think I know best. I know myself best. But usually, based on our wrong view, because of ignorance, we think we know, myself best, but sometimes we are ignorant of the reality of myself. And then sometimes we, bring a trouble to myself or trouble to other people. So that's why Buddha wants us to change. Right? Buddha wants to transform us. And then this Buddha. So that's why from Buddha's eyes, we have a necessity of change, necessity on our side. And then in other words, no Amida Buddha without us. Because of our trouble, our existence, Amida Buddha came into being. Right? So in other words, essence of Amida Buddha is compassionate aspiration for us to live better, for us to live with less suffering, trouble. Right? And the Buddha has a core essence of Amida Buddha is sense of care. Sense of care. And then I share the story of piece of cake. And then, as I mentioned, Buddha, because of form, shape, we are so kind of stuck with this, personified kind of as a deity. But we have to go beyond that. We have to discover the essence within the form. Right? And then those form and the essence is kind of intertwined, kind of front and the back side of perm. So this is another example of form and essence, right? Liquid aloha. So tomorrow evening, tomorrow evening, yeah. Or this is another example. They have a great talent within themselves, which are formless. But when they are manifested into their art, then we can know it. We can perceive, enjoy them. Right? So we do need a form to appreciate something formless. So that's why nirvana, ultimate truth, dharma, thusness, whatever, right? Those kind of metaphysical stuff has to take the formless, manifest itself into the form, concrete form, so that we can perceive it. That's how we can receive the guidance from the Dharma or Buddha ultimate truth. And then when we look at the form, they are the reminders of the essence part. So within the form, we have to figure out, discover the formless, what's in it. Right? So this is Amida Buddha, and then form and essence relationship, which is very, very important when we understand, especially the teaching of Pure Land Buddhism. Pure Land Buddhism, so many forms, right? So many forms in the Pure Land tradition. And then what's the essence? What's the meaning of those forms in the Pure Land Buddhist tradition? Golden body Buddha or Pure Land described in the Amida Sutra. What are they? So I introduced Shinran Shonin's passage, how he understood this form and the essence. And then they are kind of, interdependent or intertwined. So cake, of course, we can just enjoy it. But according to this story, we also have to appreciate, which is more important, appreciate the members' kimochi, appreciation in this cake. In the same way, when we, bow, worship Amida Buddha, we are not just bowing to the udon statue, right? We are kind of appreciating the core essence, sense of care directed to us, which we can discover in this statue. So that's why, atama ga sagaru. We bow to this statue. So in that sense, Pure Land Buddhism, Jōdo Shinshū is kind of, we are challenged. So those forms are presented to us. And then our homework, assignment is find the essence, kind of deeper messages within those forms. Right? So we are challenged with this teaching. Hi. And then I move to, that is a kind of introduction for the better understanding of Amida Buddha. And then I move to the sutra, my story part. Amida Buddha, personified, like a Buddha. And then there is a story to explain the background of this Buddha which is very helpful to understand the essence of this Buddha. And then 3 Pure Land Sutra, and then boy has a great ambition to, I want to help people, and then medical school, and then become doctor. In the same way, king inspired by Buddha, Buddhism, and then became a bodhisattva, and then practice, and then eventually Amida Buddha. This is a story introduced in the larger sutra. And then I also explained the system or mechanism in the Mahayana Buddhism. Vow is very, very important when we pursue this Buddhist path. And then I hope you remember, Jusege. We chant Jusege because it's summary of Amida Buddha's kimochi, aspiration, not because it's short. 間違わないでくださいよ。And then I showed a larger sutra opening up the scroll. You see there those things. And then when we talk about Amida Buddha, who or what is Amida Buddha? So 12 vows. So Amida Buddha has 48 vows. And then among them, I last night introduced 12th vow, 13th vow. Buddha of immeasurable light, Buddha of immeasurable life. So because of this immeasurable light, this Buddha is kind of, wherever we are, always we receive the light from this Buddha. Because of immeasurable life, this Buddha always kind of being with us, next to us. Right? So Buddha of any time, anywhere. いつでもどこでもの仏様. So this is Amida Buddha. And then Shinran Shonin especially focused on light, the idea of light. And then I introduced 12 features of this light, which was originally from larger sutra. This is the Shinran Shonin's interpretation or understanding of Amida Buddha, the Tathagata of inconceivable light. Although Amida has a kind of human, shape, but his understanding is the core essence of Amida Buddha is light. This is how Shinran Shonin interpret this Buddha. ほんで放送ね。And then はい。And then why Buddha is light. So this Buddha, the light break our ignorance, the darkness of our ignorance. Right? So it has the power to smash down our ignorance. And then light to make us gentle and soft. I introduced 33rd vow in the supplemental material, which is one of the most favorite vow. で次どうなるんだ? I think this is the last slide yesterday. ね、ごめんなさいね。So now, so this is the kind of continuation from now. So this Buddha has a wisdom. And then as I show the slide of like an X-ray or thermal camera or 何だったっけ? or a microscope, right? With different eyes, we can get the different images. We can see things differently. So from the eyes of Buddhas, what does Buddha see? From Buddha's eyes of wisdom, or in the light of wisdom. I think this word is very Buddhistic word. So half of our life is uncertainty. Life, L-I-F-E. So half of the life is uncertainty, right? If. Right? And then 3/4 of our life is untruth. Because life, L-I-E, lie.
This is getting depressing.
네. Right. 네. So this is a kind of interesting word play. 네. The English word life kind of telling us. But most of you live longer than me, so you know the reality of the life in this world. So maybe most of you could agree with this idea. Half of our life is uncertainty, and then fourth of our life is kind of untruth. So that's why this is one idea of Buddhism, how Buddhism look at this world. Shaba, in Japanese, shaba or saha word. So saha is a Sanskrit word meaning a transliteration of is shaba in Japanese, or translation is nindo, the land of endurance. So when you know the story of Shakyamuni Buddha, right? Why did he throw away everything? Why did he started his spiritual quest? There is a story of four gates story. So he realized the reality, suffering, or hardship of this world, and then he wanted to find the way to deal with those kind of inevitable, essential suffering of human being. Right? So in other words, suffering is the main theme, main topic of Buddhism. Right? So that's why I understand, Buddhism see this world in this way. Right? So first we have to figure out the cause, or we have to, carefully look at the situation, and then figure out what is the, cause of our suffering. So I myself totally agree with this idea. And then, this is another Buddhist ideas of 6 realms, realms of suffering. And then, one idea is we are kind of inchworm on the bamboo tree, cutting a bamboo tree, and then there is a circle, and then we are kind of inchworm just circulating this edge of a bamboo tree kind of endlessly. This is one kind of metaphor analogy introduced in Buddhist scripture. Right? So that's why somebody, pick this inchworm and then get out of it. Otherwise, this inchworm, endlessly kind of circulating this edge of bamboo. So that is a meaning of kind of revelation from circulation. In Japanese, gedatsu. Gedatsu. So I know sometimes people get stuck with the birth in the Pure Land. Say, where's the Pure Land? How do we, attain birth? So let me say liberation from circulation. Kind of same meaning. Liberation from circulation or birth in the Pure Land. And then once we are kind of, took off this, circulation, and then we are become Buddha. And then that means we start a new life as a Buddha. So this is the kind of cosmology of Pure Land Buddhism. And then there are many ways to interpret this idea, this cosmology. I'm sure you have lots of questions about this. But you can write it down in your piece of paper. Although this is the topic for day, yes.
Can you just go back? I want to take a picture.
はい、どうぞ。
This slide is not too good.
本当？
Yeah, I cannot read that thing.
おお、はいはいはいはいはい。This is これマンダラね。はい。Although this Amida Buddha is sitting, not standing. Anyway, 大丈夫？ Got it? I can send a PowerPoint file later. ちょっと大きいけど、it's kind of big file だけど。Yeah. Okay, then, Amida Buddha's land, Pure Land. I'm sure people have a lot of questions. Okay, okay, 行こうか。ね。So, why Amida established Pure Land? Why Amida, Buddha of light, Buddha of wisdom, Buddha of compassion? Why Buddha established the Pure Land? Yeah. So Pure Land means it's pure. It's free from impurity. And what kind of impurity are we talking about? It's our greed, anger, ignorance. Right? So Buddha's land is free from our greed, anger, ignorance, stupidity, 3 poisons. Since there is no cause of suffering, so that's why Pure Land is free from suffering. So in that sense, it's a pure land, free from impurity. Right? And then another expression, another name of the Buddha's land is perfect bliss, void of suffering, grief, sorrow, etc. Why Amida established this? Because those are the reality of our world. Right? This is the reality of our world. And then some sutra says, where is the Buddha's land? Like Amida Sutra say 100,000 kodis. This is a number unit in Indian number unit. It's kind of huge number. I just say huge number. Lands away from here. And then beyond 100,000 kodis of Buddha's land, westwards from here. So it sounds like a distance, talking about a distance. But I would say distance of kind of quality. Right? So when honestly, humbly look at this world, I know there are some positives, right? But overall, there are more sufferings, hardships. Every day, crime happens all over the world. And many people, cries, right? And killed. Right? So this is the reality of our world. So that's why, Buddha's land is described as very, very far away. And then this description my take is, that means we are far from this ideal, world, ideal realm. That's where we are living right now. And then by saying so, Buddha kind of encouraging us to realize, and then maybe we need to take action to change this world. Right? So this is the one way of reading Pure and Buddhist scriptures. Right? If we just literally read it, okay, so where is it? Westwards, so this way. Nishikochi? Where is it? West? Whatever, yeah. So according to Buddhist sutras, it is westward. It's far away. Where is it? Right? So we try to put in the numbers. Where is more concrete way? But no, it's talking about distance. And then by saying that, Buddha tried to encourage us to realize how impure we are, how far away, land we are living right now. Right? So again, Buddha's message is always telling me to awaken or to realize the reality of my life and then this world. Right? If that is the foundation, then you know how to read the Buddhist sutras, Buddhist, those kind of expressions. Right? So that's why Buddha deeply, truly know how hard it is to live this Saha world, how hard it is to attain Buddhahood, right? Being or existence free from suffering. It's really difficult to attain Buddhahood, to become a being existence free from suffering. It's really difficult. So that's why we are Pure and Buddhist tradition. And then the 18th vow. This is the passage of the 18th vow, what we call primal vow. This is the aspiration, resolution that the Amida Buddha established. If when I attain Buddhahood, the sentient beings of the 10 quarters, with sincere mind entrusting themselves, aspiring to be born in my land, and saying my name perhaps even 10 times should not be born there. May I not attain the supreme enlightenment. Excluded are those who commit the 5 grave offenses and those who slander the light dharma. And then if I talk about this, maybe I need 5 more days. So let me just summarize. This is a digest. So 18th vow. Buddha asks us, kind of begging us, please let me release you from samsaric life solely with the recitation of Namo Amida Butsu. So that is kind of my take of the essence of 18th vow. Buddha has aspiration, kind of wish, or kind of passion to take us from the, like inchworm, kind of circulating the edge of bamboo tree. So try to, release us from this circulation. And then, okay, that's easy. I can do that. This is my youngest son, Hiroto. かわいいね。But some people may say, that's weird. The Buddhist path, to become Buddha, right? To be liberated this from samsara, shouldn't be that easy, Why did this Buddha prepare such a simple practice? We just say Namo Amida Butsu. That's it. That's it. That's it. Right? So this is very simple. For some people, too good to be true. Right? Too good to be true. And then many people reacted in this way. How come Buddha, establish such a simple, easy practice, path? And then, of course, it's nice to think about, I'll be liberated or released from the samsaric life. Am I really living in this samsara? And then this is my second son, Eito. His name is Eight. That is his name. Yeah. So, Eito. So this is Eito in Japanese, katakana. And then should be spelled Eito, Eito. So his Japanese passport spelled this way, because I turned in the application with this spelling, rejected. But his U.S. passport, his birth certificate, his name is Eight. 8. So this is because my oldest son is Takato, and then second son is Eito, and then the third son is Hiroto. このね、とがトーチ、これで合ってる？トーチ。The spelling is U がいる？O で大丈夫？ね。Yeah, so this is Chinese character to, lamp or torch, and then Takato, Eito, Hiroto. My 3 boys carry this Chinese character. And then the second sign is, happen to be Eito. So that's why, this is cool. Everybody remembers 8. And then 2 years ago, he was 8 years old. So 8 was 8. But now 8 is 10. Sounds very philosophical. Anyway, and he's very religious. Among the 3 boys, he's very religious, very interesting guy. He has very good questions, very good religious questions. So I always enjoy talking with him. And then, so of course we have to try to, again, please challenge the 18th vow. Again, Jōdo Shinshū or Pure Land Buddhism is kind of challenging, teaching. So please challenge. And then, why did Amida establish the, Pure Land? And then, why did Amida prepare such a simple practice? So always bring it to myself, or in comparison with this world? Right? And then why? And please always carry the question, why? And then that kind of question leads you a better or deeper understanding of Amida Buddha. And then I'm sure Jōdo Shinshū or Pure Land Buddhism has a good answers. And then ministers carries a great answers too. So please ask them. Hi. So anyway, can we bring only the front side of paper? Can we? Hey, bring just front side of paper. It's impossible, right? Because front and the back side of paper is kind of inseparable, right? And then how about Amida Buddha? Yeah. So Amida Buddha, again, does not exist by itself. Yeah. Because the core essence is a sense of care to myself. Right? So that's why when we think about Amida Buddha, always have to be connected with my existence. Right? If we try to discuss Amida Buddha objectively, just by itself, it's we try to bring only front side of paper. Right? That is a kind of impossible discussion. Right? Always when you think about Amida Buddha, right? Always try to discuss with including myself. Right? So in the same way, as I mentioned the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara, who became Amida Buddha later, and then introduced this larger sutra. This is the English translation of the larger sutra. If you are interested in, please buy it. And then when you read the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara, keeping away yourself, or you will read this story, putting yourself in this story. Jōdo Shinshū, please put yourself in this story. You are a part of this story. And then, once you start reading the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara in that way, it really makes sense to you. But if you just reading this story without putting yourself into this story, it's totally fairy tale. Has nothing to do with your life. So again, the form and the essence. Right? So what is the core message of this form? I mean, this story. Right? What is the core essence of this story? Right? So the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara, 48 vows, right? Teaching of Amida Buddha. If we just read it as a story without putting myself in it, it's just a fairy tale, imaginary story. I don't need that. But this is what the Shinran Shonin said. When I consider deeply the vow of Amida, which arose from the 5 kalpas. Do you remember the afro, head, Amida Buddha, no time for haircut, and then, arose from 5 kalpas of profound thought. I realized it was entirely for the sake of myself alone. This is how Shinran Shonin read or accepted the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara by putting himself in this story. He was a part of this story. He was the one why this story was made. Right? So when Shinran Shonin read the story in this way, it totally makes sense. So maybe we humans have a wish or a desire, aspiration. I want to be rich. Me too. I want to live healthy. Yes, I do. I want to success in da-da-da-da-da. We humans have a lot of, wish list, right? And then sometimes people think, we just pray for Buddha, pray for God, and then try to actualize our wishes. But the Jōdo Shinshū is kind of different teaching. Not our wishes. Buddha's wish is the center of this teaching. Right? Religious teaching is not to actualize our wishes. No, Jōdo Shinshū, especially Jōdo Shinshū, no. Maybe other religious teaching, yes, but the Jōdo Shinshū, no. The core center of Jōdo Shinshū teaching is Buddha's wish, is the center. Right? And then, not rather than asking, hey, Buddha, listen to my wish. That's not the Jōdo Shinshū teaching. I should listen to Buddha's wish. So that is Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism. And then, by deeply, carefully, humbly listen to Buddha's wish, and then we could realize there is a necessity of change on my side. Right? And then we can deeply, realize Buddha's sense of care directed to me. Right? And then why, there is a necessity of change? Because I'm carrying a gas, right? I'm passing a gas every day and then suffer myself and then give, trouble to other people. So that's why maybe we could be more humble. Right? Once we deeply, truly realize who I am, how I live my everyday life, we could be more careful, responsible, or humble. Right? And then Buddha has a great wish or aspiration to change myself. And then when we deeply, truly realize or appreciate that, and then we have a kind of deep gratitude, grateful appreciation, Buddha's care. So that's why, when this happens, right? When this happens, so this is one example of how Jōdo Buddhists nurtured in the Buddha's light. これ何? What's this? そう、なるほどね。Wheat. ああ、そうね。Yeah. This is a rice. But this is a US, maybe wheat. Yeah, that's correct. ね。面白いね。Right. Because I'm a Japanese, grew up in Japan. And so, rice field was all over. And I never seen the, oh, なるほどね。まあ、looks, either, どっちでもいい。大丈夫。And then, this is a rice, ね。But how the rice grows, right? First, it's kind of just straight, and then the more this is different translations. In Japanese, we say 実るほど神戸を垂れる稲穂かな。実るほど神戸を垂れる稲穂かな。So this is the kind of translation. The more stalk of the rice grows and it matures, the more deeply it bends down. Those are some other English translations. So the rice, as it grows, and then gradually kind of bending, over, kind of looks like doing a, bow. So in the same way, we Jōdo Buddhists, as we listen to the Dharma, as we deepen our appreciation or understanding of the Dharma, what happens? Our head like this way. Yeah. Maybe some people like this way, right? So that's wrong. Jōdo Shinshū teaching, when you truly listen to the Dharma, you gradually become more humble, right? So this is the one example of when we are nurtured in the light of Amida Buddha. And then that means this big I become more humble, right? As we listen to the Dharma. And then also, as we truly, deeply listen to the Dharma, what's this? Think. And then what is the center? I. When we think, I is center. Right? I is center. But as we listen to the Dharma, this I kind of change into A and then become Thank. And then this A means Amida. So now Amida comes to the center of my life. And then my life becomes more thank you or thankfulness. So this is how we are transformed, changed by the teaching of Dharma or by the Jōdo Shinshū teaching or nurtured by the light of Amida Buddha. and then again, so this is not my invention. ね、この this think to think by created by 菅原先生。ね、菅原先生 Portland。ね、he is very smart. He's a wonderful minister. And then he uploaded his Dharma message on the YouTube だったかな Temple website. ね、if you are interested in him, please listen to his message. He's such a wonderful minister. So I borrowed his invention to share with you the how Buddhism changes us from think to think. ね、はい。ということでどうしましょうかね。So we have どうしましょう。
Yesterday's power.
はい。
Now we can start today.
どうso this day 3 is Shinjin なのよ。So Amida Buddha, we just finished Amida Buddha. And then now I'd like to move to the Shinjin part. ね、because the structure is どれだったっけ？Please. ブッダ bless you. はい。で、So now we just covered Amida Buddha, right? And then we are receiving Buddha's wish. We are the target object of Amida Buddha's wish. And then what happened when we receive it, right? And then this acceptance of Amida Buddha's wish is we call Shinjin. 今日 Shinjin よね。Shinjin. ね、どうしましょう。May I go into Shinjin part? 大丈夫？行こうか。はい、OK。じゃあthis is I think right now we are here. ね。So this is today's handout, and then we are not right now this slide. And then the first part is a kind of review. ね。And then we already covered them, so I will skip them. ここまでかな。その次はもう次か。そうね。はい。again ね、as we listen to the Dharma, we discover Buddha's wish. We discover Buddha's aspiration directed to myself. And then the next step is how do we receive it? How do we accept Buddha's wish? Which we call Shinjin in Jōdo Shinshū tradition. And this is a Japanese word. And then at the end of today's slide, I put your homework assignment at the very last slide. English translation of Shinjin. Okay, 行きましょう。ね。So let me begin Shinjin discussion or Shinjin presentation with this question. ね。Which type of patient are we? ね。はい。There are two types of patients. ね。One is ね admitting ね being sick. Okay, I understand. I'm that bad. Okay, I understand. So this lady admits, being sick, and then try to work together with doctor for the treatment, right? And then second type of patient is, I don't think so, right? Not admitting, I am sick, right? And so that's why her attitude would be, I don't care. So not working together with doctor for the treatment. Okay. I'm basically this type. I don't trust doctors very much. If doctors here, ごめんなさいね。I don't, This is because I know myself best, right? So that's why maybe I'm more like this, second type, patient. Such a bad patient. So this patient, because she worked together with her doctor, so that's why she can recover from her sickness, illness. And then she would change the way she lives, right? Like diabetes, she would pay attention to the food, right? Or do more exercise, right? So once truly admit being sick, and then has a wish or aspiration to be, to recover, and then of course, change the way of life. And then how about this one? Because I don't think I'm that bad, right? So that's why not, working together with doctor. So that's why very slow recovery, or maybe no recovery, right? Of course, not changing the way of her life, right? Because she doesn't, trust, believing what the doctor says. Right? So maybe this is a kind of one example, kind of one analogy of Jōdo Shinshū Shinjin. So let's go this way. So this is, I would say, more like a Shinjin person, Shinjin attitude. So first is, okay, listen to doctor's diagnosis. Okay, doctor, I understand. Oh, okay, I'm sick. I'm that bad, right? Kind of admitting or acknowledgement how sick I am. And then, of course, that's why, okay, so I need to work with you, the treatment, acknowledgement and necessity of treatment. And then trust. She entrusts herself to doctor. Right? So this is very easy to understand, right? So I would say this is a kind of life of Shinjin. One kind of example. Just one example for your better or easier understanding. So listen to the Dharma. I know how much greed, anger, ignorance, which is sick, I am. And then, of course, because of those three poisons, I suffer myself, give trouble other people. So that's why I have to improve myself, right? So we acknowledge the necessity of treatment. And then who tells I am sick? Buddha tells me I'm sick, right? So that's why we entrust ourselves to what the doctor says, like what the Buddha says, right? We follow the direction or instruction of Buddha, right? So this is more like the life of Shinjin, I would say. And then another example is life of doubt. So in Jōdo Shinshū tradition, the opposite of Shinjin is doubt. And then Shinran Shonin, he discussed this issue very thoroughly, here and there in his writing. He always kind of discussed the issue of doubt. Because once we are free from doubt, and then we attain Shinjin, or Shinjin, arises within us. So that's why the void of doubt is very, very important. So that's why Shinran Shonin discussed the issue of doubt very, very much. So in the relationship with Amida Buddha, listen to the Dharma. Sensei, that's it. Your message is totally about my wife. Sensei, you are talking totally about my husband, right? So not admitting I am sick from Buddha's perspective, right? So that's why I don't need a treatment, so I don't have to listen to the Dharma. My wife should listen to the Dharma. My husband should listen to the Dharma. My children should listen to the Dharma, right? So putting ourselves away and then kind of avoiding the treatment from Buddhas, right? So that's why no recovery, and then that's why no change of life by the Buddha Dharma. Right? So that is the life of doubt, which is opposite of Shinjin, life of Shinjin. Okay? This is one example. Patient and doctor relationship is one example, analogy to demonstrate what the life of Shinjin is, or what is the Jōdo Shinshū Shinjin is. And another example is this. Can you tell what is wrong? ね、わかった。ね、そう、これ。こうね。Yeah. ね、I think it's hard to see ね、ここだったら。Yeah, I know. ね、his flies are open. ね。Right? I think men, we go to restroom, and then sometimes, washing our hands. And then mirror tells us, hey, it's still open. Right? Although we notice, but the mirror telling me, hey, it's open. Right? So again, I know myself the best than anybody. Right? That's maybe our ignorance. But I'm sure Buddha would say, hey, wait a minute, are you sure? So physically speaking, we cannot see our back, right? And then women, ladies, you need a mirror when you make up, right? Because without mirror, it's very difficult to make it up, right? So we know, we think we know ourselves the best, but there are many parts that we cannot see with our eyes by ourselves, right? And then can we really say, I know myself the best, right, than anybody? So that's why Buddha would question to us. So sutra can be compared to a mirror. 教行は例うるにこれ鏡のごとし。So this is a passage by Shandao, the fifth of the seven masters. He wrote in his one of his writings, sutras, Buddhist sutras can be compared to a mirror. So Buddhist sutra is a collection of Buddha's words. And then when we read Buddha's words, and then he said it's like a mirror. So with the eyes of wisdom, Buddha honestly tells us who or what we are, or how we live our everyday life. Right? So, of course, in this world, there are, unusual mirrors, like a trick mirrors. So the mirrors that do not show the object, exactly, correctly. The mirror here is not talking about this kind of mirror. So mirror, honestly telling, us who we are, how we live everyday life. So restroom, man, we can notice our, flies are open because of this mirror honestly telling us how I look at this point. Right? So this is another kind of Shinjin. When we look at the mirror, and then look into mirror, this is not me, right? This is strange, right? When you look at the mirror, and then this is not me, right? So mirror exactly shows you who you are, how you look. So this is another analogy of Shinjin. When we look into the Dharma mirror, and then we see the images in the Dharma mirror. So what did Shinran Shonin say when he received the diagnosis from Dr. Amida? So this is 大変だったのよ。Amida Buddha had a like a doctor. And what did Shinran Shonin see in the mirror of Dharma? There are many examples in Shinran Shonin's writing. We are full of ignorance and the blind passion. Our desires are countless and anger, wrath, jealousy, and envy are overwhelming, arising without pause. To the very last moment of the life, they do not cease or disappear or exhaust themselves. I do agree with this observation. I truly agree with Shinran Shonin. This is other passages. I know truly how grievous it is that I gutoku Shinran, sinking in the immense ocean of desires and attachment, and I'm lost in the vast mountains of fame and advantage. Shinran Shonin, he was a disciple, follower of Honen Shonin. Right? He was one of the disciples of Honen Shonin, his master. But Shinran Shonin himself had many followers, right? Many followers. Yeah. So that means people respected him, right? People kind of thought he is the one, we should follow him, listen to him. But still, he, confessed like this. And then this is another example. Extremely difficult is it to put an end to our evil nature. And the mind is like a venomous snake or scorpion. Our performance is good act is also poisoned. Hence, it is called false and empty practice. It is very severe. It is very critical. Right? But I myself totally agree with Shinran Shonin's view. His observation of human existence. And then, of course, some people don't like this kind of comments. Sensei, that's too, negative. That's too depressive. I don't like them. But that's okay. Yeah. But that's okay. But some people like a negative or pessimistic or depressive, But at the same time, don't you think those observations are very real or true to our actual everyday life? Yeah. So if you can agree with his observation, then maybe you'll be okay with this. And then I would ask, what do you think of a doctor who tells who tells the truth, who doesn't tell the truth, because he or she thinks I feel bad. That's a terrible doctor, huh? Right? So if doctor doesn't tell you the truth, you get worse, right? So no matter how you feel, doctor has to tell the truth. Yes.
I notice in Japan and Korea, they don't tell the patients.
Sometimes.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have cancer. Right?
Yeah, and then call family members, and then indirectly, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think Buddha honestly tells us, or the mirror of Dharma honestly telling us who I am, how we live everyday life. Yeah. And then without any compromise, Shinran Shonin kind of humbly look at the image in the Dharma mirror, or he humbly listened to what the Buddha says. Right? But again, I know those descriptions or observations sounds very negative and depressive. But if you want to recover, improve things, you have to see the reality first. Right? You have to acknowledge the current situation. And then we need to take action. Right? If we don't look at the reality, and then we can not take a right action. Right? So that's the idea or kind of way of thinking. Shinran Shonin is very critical to ourselves because this is the reality of ourselves. And then Prince Shotoku. So this is the 17th article, Constitution in 6th century in Japan. This is the kind of first constitution in Japan. And then Prince Shotoku was a Buddhist. And then this is Article 10. I like this. So their right is our wrong. our right is their wrong. We are not questionably sages, nor are they unquestionably fools. Both of us are simply ordinary men. Right? So of course we humbly, honestly reflect upon ourselves. And then I'm not the only one who carries lots of blind passions. If we look at this world, many people like us carrying the 3 poisons. And then that's how we kind of living in this world. Right? So that's why, I love this words of Prince Shotoku. We are not unquestionably sages. Not I'm better than you. Right? I'm kind of same with you. And then this is a kind of sense of equality, or we're not looking down other people. Right? So this is a very kind of good sense. Kind of, I'm sure, coming from the deep listening of Dharma, Prince Shotoku. But Jōdo Shinshū not just pointing out our reality, how we live our everyday life. And then at the same time, we also have a treatment side of from the Dharma. Shinran Shonin said, although I too am within Amida's grasp, poisons obstruct my eyes and I cannot see the light. Nevertheless, great compassion is untiring and it illumines me always. So because of my blind passions, I'm kind of overwhelmed. Right? But the light, Buddha's light, Dharma's light is always illumines me. Try to break my ignorance. Try to show the kind of way I should go. Right? So we are always under the light of Buddha. So Amida Buddha, although we have lots of issues, lots of blind passions, but the Amida Buddha never gives up, and never complain until we arrive at the destination, like GPS navigation. So, the other day, Monday だったっけ、アンさん? Yeah, I had a lunch with Ann, and then we went to Highway Inn, right? And then she used the GPS, and then sometimes we make a turn at the wrong corner, and then but the GPS never say 文句, complain, right? So if we kind of like a passenger next to you, like next to the driver, maybe human say, 違う、どこ曲がってんの? 何しおるん? No, what are you doing? This is the wrong corner, right? But this GPS, cell phone GPS, even when we make a mistake, kind of try to find the next kind of route, quietly, and then software starting navigating the next route to go. And then no matter how many times we make a mistakes, making a wrong corner, but until we arrive there, never stops navigation, right? So I think like Amida Buddha, right? So we human living in this Saha world and then making lots of mistakes, but Amida never gives up and then patiently giving us a guidance and then looking at us compassionately, right? It is like GPS until we arrive the destination, right? So, Amida Buddha, I said the Buddha of light, and they always try to reach us, right? So we receive the light, guidance, or gift from Amida Buddha. We are under the light of Amida Buddha, Amida Buddha's embracement. And then what do we get? Right? Although we carry lots of 3 poisons, but Amida never gives up, always kind of try to guide us. And then first, Amida Buddha tried to awaken us, the reality, the symptom us, right? And then when we truly listen to Buddha's diagnosis, when we truly look at the image in the mirror, Dharma mirror, then maybe we try to be more careful, try to be more responsible for my life, how I, what we say or how we behave, right? And then we listen to the truth of impermanence, right? And then this is the message from Amida Buddha: be ready, get ready or get prepared, right? So even when you have a lifetime, our life, ups and downs, right? When you are in the stage of ups, right? The truth of impermanence telling us, be prepared, rainy day, right? On the other hand, we are in the kind of bottom side of life, but someday this, kind of hard time kind of will be changed. Everything is always changing. Someday you'll be okay, right? So impermanence, the truth of impermanence is not just an observation of how things goes, right? And then by learning, by truly realizing the truth of impermanence, and then we have to take action. Here, kind of get ready, right? And then like a white ashes, I introduced day 1 or day 2. White ashes, the teaching of impermanence. When you come to the funeral service, Renya Shonin telling us, get ready. Nobody knows tomorrow. Young, old, rich, poor, healthy, unhealthy, doesn't matter. Nobody knows next moment. So that's why we have to get ready. Think about how you should live this limited, permanent life. And the truth of interdependence. So I live my life, that's true, but with the support of other people. So once we truly realize this support from other people, we should have a sense of gratitude. We should try to be more kind to other people. Right? So again, truth of interdependence is not just observing, analyzing the system of this world. Right? By truly realizing, understanding this system of world, and then take action. Be grateful, be kind to other people. And then this Amida Buddha prepare the path to be liberated from this samsara by reciting, just saying Namo Amida Butsu. It's very simple path. And then that's how we can liberate it, eventually liberate it from this samsara. So those are the guidance or light we receive from Amida Buddha. So this is one interpretation of Jōdo Shinshū Shinjin. So one side, this is I wrote like a pink heart. So one side, awareness. One side is awareness, the reality of myself. The other side is the appreciation of Buddha's compassion, aspiration and compassion. So those two, there should be those two. And then this is the idea invented by Shandao, the Chinese master. And then Shinran Shonin took, this interpretation idea of Shinjin. So again, we should have those two. Only appreciation of Buddha, Buddha's aspiration, and compassion without any awareness of who I am, how I live everyday life. It's just optimism or kind of shallow appreciation of Amida's working. Okay, I'm saved. There's no deep, serious reflection upon myself, upon my life. It's very totally shallow kind of understanding of Jōdo Shinshū teaching. But if only this part, this side, only awareness of my symptoms, like 3 poisons, any appreciation of Amida Buddha's guidance, appreciation, compassion, it is depression. It's very depressive. And then self-negation, negativism. Right? So this is wrong Shinjin. If we carry only one side, one part, it's wrong Shinjin. So traditionally we call it's like a inseparable 2 sides of palm. So this is the healthy, right Shinjin. はい。どうしようかね。Let me finish it. はい。Then how do we attain Shinjin? ね。How do we attain Shinjin? I know there is no clear answer. ね。But I would say, ね、this is one example of how we attain Shinjin. ね。So these are the picture, me and Eito, my second son Eito. ね。So, yeah, it looks like I'm a good father. According to those pictures. ね。I did a good job, right? So how did or does 8 recognize this guy is his father? Right? How did he realize? Awareness. Oh, that guy is my father. How did he get that kind of realization or awareness? Right? So it is because of through the constant or continuous communication. Right? As a father, I always take care of Eito. And then he, as a baby, received my care. Right? And then, I don't know when, but since he was born, I took care of him. And then, along my care. And then, at some point, he started realizing, oh, this guy is always with me. Oh, this guy is always kind of good to me, or takes care of me. Oh, and then gradually he starts thinking, oh, this guy is a special guy. And then through this, communication, receiving care, and then one day he realized, oh, this is what we call father, And then someday he said, to-chan, or dad, right? Kind of say word. So Shinjin, I understand Shinjin is kind of similar to this. Yeah. So communication with Buddha is a way to go. Yeah. So listen to the Dharma, or maybe chatting with your Dharma friends, or reading books on Jōdo Shinshū Buddhism, or kind of living more, mind-free, attentively. Yesterday I talked about the 4 transformed Buddha. When we mindfully look at our life, we are surrounded by all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, guidance all around us. When we do so, yeah, we realize we are kind of surrounded, nurtured by Buddha or Dharma. Right? So when we, constant exposure to the teaching, right? Listen to the Dharma. Yeah. And then gradually, or maybe some people maybe suddenly, this awareness comes in. Right? And then because of this awareness, maybe called Shinjin, we know, oh, this is the Buddha we should follow. This is a guidance we should receive. Right? So as we listen to the Dharma, and then gradually we have this kind of awareness, which should be called Shinjin. And then because of this awareness, I would say this is an internal change of subject. Watashi jishin. I myself, my subject is changed with this awareness. And then since my subject is changed or transformed, right? Of course, the actions, our everyday external action should be also influenced or changed since my subject itself has been changed. Right? So maybe some religious or some Buddhist path try to impose, us from outside. Maybe discipline, practice, rules, precept, those kind of things. Kind of try to change us from outside, right? And then we may change our life because we are instructed to live so, right? And how about this? Jōdo Shinshū, by deeply listening to the Dharma. Or maybe we are convinced or realize the value of Dharma. And then this kind of change of our subject happens within us. Right? So that's why change of action, because I myself, my subject itself has been changed, transformed, or like a persimmon example, by exposed to the things, and then bitter persimmon turned into sweet one. In the same way, by exposed to Buddha, Dharma, and then or Amida Buddha. So we are kind of changed. So that's why our action after attaining Shinjin is more like a natural and then spontaneous, which should be different from this kind of change. And then, as I introduced at the beginning of today, Shinjin's diamond-like mind. What does it mean? I myself has been changed. Right? I myself has been changed. So Shinjin is not something external, something additional. Right? I myself has been changed. So that's why it's impossible to break myself. Right? So if Shinjin is something external, something additional coming afterwards, maybe we lose it. Right? We lose faith. But if Dharma changes myself, and then this change transformation will last until we end our life. So in that sense, Shinjin is in this unbreakable. It's kind of diamond-like, never kind of broken. It stays within us until we end our life. And then that kind of Shinjin, or kind of new subject, is a kind of core of our new action after attaining Shinjin. なんだこれは。そうね。So that's why, because of a new subject, right? So that's why, as I introduced, because of this new, so that's why we can see things from different way. We can think things from different way, behave different way. It's kind of Amida-centered life or Dharma-centered life. That's how we are transformed. So my last message today is, I know this is not enough. Especially I didn't go into more doctrinal aspect of Shinjin discussion. So for your better understanding, I kind of very, なんて言うんだろうね, put Shinjin description, Shinjin explanation more easy way. Of course, there are many huge discussion, in detail doctrinal discussion of Shinjin. But I believe I introduced some important aspects of Jōdo Shinshū Shinjin. And then receiving those ideas, I want you to think about how should we translate this such a state of mind into English. Is that the faith? We've been always discussing Shinjin can be translated into faith or not. Right? And then faith sometimes has a Christian connotation, Christian kind of things. And then as I introduced, Shinjin has a kind of those aspects, those features. And then when we use the word faith, does the word faith can cover those ideas or not? If not, what is the appropriate, good, right word to, indicate this our state of mind in English word? So that's why, as some of you know, we have been long discussion. How should we translate Shinjin? Should we keep Shinjin, just a Romanized Shinjin, or should we translate Shinjin into English? We've been discussing long time. That's because so many different, faiths of, aspects on Shinjin. So once we kind of, translate Shinjin into faith, maybe we lose something. So that's why it's a kind of long, kind of never-ending discussion. So I just wanted to, understand this kind of background of English, the issue of English translation of faith and the Shinjin. And then maybe you can have a good answer or a good idea for the English translation of Shinjin. Yesterday I talked about, composing English commentary by you. So when you compose, commentary of Jōdo Shinshū, right? So those are the kind of things you have to take into consideration. Right? You have a good understanding of background or doctrinal discussion, and then how to translate them into a kind of real English. ね、はい。ごめんなさい。I think it's 9 now. ありがとうございましたね。